Okay, we're going to be doing factoring, and it's going to be factoring with binomials, trinomials, and polynomials. And we're going to be using common factoring trinomials, using product sum rule, and then factoring by grouping for polynomials. So let's look at the first question. So you have 6x squared plus 4x plus 2. So the first thing we can do is they all have a common factor of 2. So we can take out 2, and 6 divided by 2 is 3, so you can put 3x squared plus 4 divided by 2 is 2x, plus 2 divided by 2 is 1. As you can see, that's not factorable anymore, so we can go to the next one. Now, here, the second question is also factorable by a common factor, right? You can factor out 10. So 10 divided by 10 is 1, so x squared. 20 divided by 10 is 2, so 2x. 30 divided by 10 is 3. So I just leave it as 3, and you can see that that's not factorable anymore, so we leave it like that. That's the answer. Now, at number 3, we have the trinomial, and we're going to use the product sum rule. So x squared minus 2x minus 8. So what you want to do is you want to list out all the numbers that multiply to 8 but add up to negative 2, or multiply to negative 8 but add up to negative 2. And after trial and error, you can see that it becomes x minus 4 and x plus 2. So that's your factor. Okay, and I can show you this through listing out the pairs that add up to negative 2, or add up to, negative 2 and negative 8, and multiply to negative 8. So you wouldn't use 1 and 8, right? Because no matter how much, you wouldn't be able to get like a sum of negative 2. So you list either 4 or 2, right? And you can try negative 4, negative 2. You can try negative 4 and 2, and you can try 2 and negative 4, and you can try 2 and 4. And based on this, you can see that negative 4 and 2 are the only ones that can multiply to negative 8, but also add up to negative 2. Now, we can go to the next one. 2x squared minus 4x minus 16. So 2x squared, this one is different. It's a trinomial, but because it has an a value, see the 2 here? So because it has that, what I would use is I use the x method, where I make an x and I multiply 2 and negative 16. I multiply this value and this value, and I put it on the top, so negative 32. Then I put the negative 4, so this value, at the bottom. So now I'm doing the same thing as the question before, but I'm trying to find a number that multiplies to negative 32, but adds up to negative 4. And if you try that out, you can actually see the pairs like 8 and 4. So if you try like 8 and 4, negative 8, negative 4, negative 8, 4, 8, negative 4, you'll see that this pair works, right? Negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. Negative 8 times 4 is 32. So what I'll do is I'll put negative 8 on this side and 4 over this on this side, and have a line under them. Under this line, I'll put the a value in the trinomial. So I put 2 here and 2 here. And then my factors would be x. So I put x in bracket. And this would become, you divide it out or simplify it. So it'd be 2. So it'd be x minus 4 and x plus 2. There actually is another way you can also do this problem, and that is if you common factored out the 2 and then you just factored it regularly, but you'll see that you'll get the same answer as this. Okay, now let's go to number 5. This is another one, right? It's a regular trinomial. So test out the pairs, right? So if you can see, 3 and 7 work. Negative 3, negative 7, negative 3, 7, 3, negative 7. So out of these 4, to get negative 10, you must have both negatives, right? So it has to be this one. So the answer would be x minus 3, x minus 7. And these both, when multiplied, the negatives cancel out to a positive 21. So that's how you know that's the answer. Now let's do this one. So again, we use the cross or x method. Do 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Put 14 on the bottom. And the ones that add up would be negative 15, 1, negative 15, negative 1, negative 1, 15, and 1 and 15. So obviously this one doesn't work, and this one doesn't work, right? So it must be negative 1 and 15, because 15 minus 1 is 14. So we put negative 1 here, put 15 here, divided by 5, divided by 5. So that one we keep there, and this one equals to 3. So you put x plus 3, but on this side, because you have a negative 1 over 5, you're going to put bracket 5x minus 1. So that's how you would do it. Okay, now let's go to question 7. So here's a binomial. So a binomial, the way to solve it is you look at the a term and you see if it can be square rooted, and you see if this can be square rooted. And they both can be. So this one can be square rooted to 2. This one can be 5. And then because there's an x there, it also can be square rooted. You put 2x minus 5, and then 2x plus 5. And the reason this works is because you have a negative and a positive, right? This is negative, this is positive. So that equals a negative, which is here. And then if you see 5 times 5 is 25, and 2x, if you square it, you get 4x squared. So yeah. Now let's go to 8. So 4x squared plus 19x plus 12. So we do cross method again. 4 times 12 is 48. And you put 19 in here. Divided by 4, divided by 4. And you know that pairs that add up to that would be, let's see, 2, 12, or no, sorry, not 12. 2 and 24. 3, actually, let's see if 3 actually works. So 48 divided by 3 actually works. Yep, 3 and 16. And you can see those add up to 9, right? So you don't need to do the first one. So 3 and 16 work. So be 3, 16. This one divided out would be 4. This one you leave as 3 over 4. So your answer would be 4x plus 3 times x plus 4. And that's your answer. Now, for these last two, you're going to use factor by grouping. So you're going to look at this side of the polynomial, and then you're going to look at this side of the polynomial, and then factor them separately. So for this side, we're going to factor out an x squared. Then this would become x plus 5. Then we're going to put a plus here, and we're going to factor out this side. So you can factor out a 5, right? So 5x plus 5. And once you get to this step, you can actually do this. See what I did? So I combined these two, put it into a factor, and then I put these two into 1. So the answer is that. X squared plus 5 times x plus 5. Now let's do the same thing for this one. So we can factor out a 3x squared here. It comes 3x plus 1. Right, because if you factor out a 3x squared divided by 3x squared, you get 1. Plus, and then 5, bracket, 3x plus 1. Right, so same thing, 3x squared plus 5 times 3x plus 1. And that's your final answer. And that's it.